have polyps in my uterus and we need to get them out so that I can do my second embryo transfer. Hi guys, I'm doing not good. I'm not good right now. The anxiety surrounding this procedure. My period came today. I am going to be fully awake for this procedure. Oh my god. That was just the most crazy experience. So that's the gist of it. Who wants to hear the details? Hello everybody, it is Dingle here and welcome back to my channel. I hope y'all are doing super duper well. I don't really know how I'm feeling right now. We'll explore that in a minute, but in today's vlog, I'm going to get my uterine polyp removed, I don't know how to say it. I have polyps in my uterus and we need to get them out so that I can do my second embryo transfer. If you guys are new, hello, my name is Mac. My husband's name is Jack. Yes, Mac and Jack, and we are going on 3 years of infertility. This past year, we have done 2 egg retrievals and we did 1 transfer back in, was it August, you guys? No, October? September? I don't know, time doesn't exist anymore. But we've done 1 semi-recently. It didn't work out for us, and then we did a saline ultrasound before going in for our second transfer, found that I have polyps, and now here are 1 polyp. We saw 1 polyp, we don't know exactly how many there are, we are gonna find out, but now here we are. If any of that resonates with you, or you just wanna cheer us on to our road to baby, make sure to hit the subscribe button because I upload videos on Wednesdays and Sundays, and we would love to have you along. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, if you are also new, something to know about me right now is I have extreme anxiety when it comes to medical procedures. You should have seen me during my first egg retrieval, y'all. My infertility playlist is always linked down below in case you want to binge any of those videos. But here we are today. I thought that we could start off today's vlog with something that I'm already doing just in everyday life right now. It is the day before the polyp removal, if I didn't say that already. And I know it's not called a polyp removal, it's called a polypectomy. Is that what it is? With a hysteroscopy, I literally don't know. They're all scary words. But something that I like to do before any sort of procedure is gather all of the things that I am going to want the next day. So I just take all of the thought and decision making out of the day of the procedure when I know I will be more of a mess, most likely, and do them today. So I wanted to show you guys the outfit I gathered and everything I am bringing with me for this procedure. So the outfit that I am wearing was strategic. I'm wearing the same socks that I wore to both of my egg retrievals, and everyone loves them, and I call them my lucky procedure socks at this point because they've brought me through each of those successfully and with a lot of relief. So I think these are the lucky socks, you guys. And then kind of going along with lucky socks, I have this bralette that I wore to every single procedure that I was terrified of so far. It's super lightweight, there's no padding whatsoever, so it's super comfortable. And this has also been with me during the procedures that I was absolutely terrified about. That included my saline ultrasound, which went really well also, so lucky things. And then following the idea of the outfits that I wore during my egg retrieval, I want to be super comfy, even the comfiest pair of leggings ever. I've learned through others and myself that having anything tied to my body during a procedure where they're going through your cervix, you know, you might feel a little uncomfortable, isn't the funnest thing to put back on and like slide up your body after something that you might feel groggy after, etc. So I have these joggers, which are super comfy, also pretty lightweight. They're a waffle material from Old Navy. I have them in 2 colors because I'm obsessed with them, and they're as comfortable as you can imagine, and the fit on them is just perfect. So I will leave these actually linked down below because I think that they're selling them all throughout the holiday season, but they're very festive too. And my procedure's on the 20th of December, so super close to Christmas. And that brings me into what I'm wearing on top is this sweatshirt. And you might be like, oh, it's an adorable Christmas sweater. Look at that. And it is because it has Christmas trees on it. But if you notice, and this is a sweater that my mom got me yesterday or the day before, she got Jack and I the same sweater as just a fun Christmas prize on our way down to our family Christmas celebration we had. But she got us these, and each tree is a house from Harry Potter. So we've got Ravenclaw, Gryffindor, Slytherin, and Hufflepuff in the form of Christmas trees. But between the joggers and this, I will be matching because Christmas green, and I will be very Christmassy and comfy. And then on my feet with those socks, I am wearing these Uggs, which I'm so sad that I can't find these anymore anywhere. I don't know if they discontinued them or whatever, but they are one level down from the really short Uggs that are out. They're called the Ultra Minis. These are like one step down from that, from not being a total slipper, but still having just a little bit of Ugg around the ankle. Obsessed with these, but I'll be wearing these with that outfit, and I think it'll feel cute, comfortable, and festive. All right, on to the fun stuff. What I am bringing to this, which is absolutely excessive, and I'll tell you what they told me to bring or to take before the appointment versus what I am also bringing. So in my bag, I've got Tylenol, which I will be taking with me, but I'll also be taking 1,000 milligrams, which is 2 of these tablets, the regular amount of Tylenol that they tell you on the back. I'll be taking that 45 minutes before my appointment time, and my appointment time is at 2:30. And then with the Tylenol, I will be taking, what is this called exactly? Lorazepam, a 2 milligram tablet. My doctors called this in for me and literally just called in 1 tablet, 1 2 milligram tablet. And when I saw that it was only 2 milligrams, I kind of freaked out a little bit, but I don't have a lot of experience with anti-anxiety medication. But every successful procedure that I've gone in, they've given me anti-anxiety medication at my fertility clinic. And I am convinced that has made the absolute world of a difference with how the procedure went and as little pain as I was in for it. So they gladly called me in anti-anxiety medication for this appointment, which if you haven't been following along, this procedure is going to be done at my regular OB office versus my fertility clinic, which has its own anxieties because my fertility clinic just treats me so well. And it's not that my OB office doesn't treat me as well, I just wish that I could do everything at my fertility clinic at this point. But when I picked this up, I'm grateful that they called it in, but I saw that it was only 2 milligrams and I had to go to Google real quick and realize that that is a normal milligram amount for this particular medication. So this I will be taking 45 minutes before my appointment time with the Tylenol. So I'll have the Tylenol in my system and I will have this working really nicely for me. Hopefully, crossing my fingers, I'll be feeling real good driving into that office. And then this is something that I am bringing just in case, just so that I feel better about having it with me. But after my egg retrieval, the second one actually, my doctor called in hydrocodone acetamin because we ended up getting more eggs that time than we did the first time. So I was feeling definitely a little more tender. So just in case and just for a peace of mind, they called that in for me. I didn't need to take any of it though. So this was literally not even open until I went to collect the things today. But it did give me that peace of mind when I went home and I drove away from my fertility clinic where all of the care people were and all of the nice nurses were that could give me medicine. It felt nice that we were going to the pharmacy to get something a little stronger than Tylenol, even if I didn't end up needing it. So that's why I'll be happy to have it with me when going in for the polyp removal tomorrow. And then I always like to have a snack with me. There's nothing like an upset stomach when you're also kind of in pain and there's medication going on. So I have these cashews, these pistachios with me. I love these. These are delicious. On top of that, I've got my wallet and I always double check that I have my license and my insurance card with me, as well as my usual credit cards just in case there's a copay or something. So that is everything that I've got in here, as well as my phone will go in there, and that is the outfit that I'm wearing. Now, how am I doing? Oh my god. I got the Stanley Cup, by the way, you guys. I got it during a Secret Santa at the family Christmas that I mentioned, and I could not be happier. Look at this color. Literally nothing more perfect for me. But oh my gosh, okay. What was the last thing that you guys would have seen? Probably when I called my nurse a couple weeks or a week after we talked on the phone in another panic because I thought of other things and other questions I wanted to ask her. And she's the freaking best. Nurses, just know that anytime you take the time to just answer questions and validate someone's feelings, how unbelievably nice and just how much of a difference you're actually making for the patient. I just needed to say that because ever since then, of course, there have been more panic moments, but there hasn't been anything that I didn't really have an answer for because my nurse has answered my questions. So anytime my brain tries to trick me and tell me that I'm in danger and everything's not going to be fine, I can go back to the conversations that I've had with with my nurse and go back to the things that she has said, and that really, really does help me. But that's not to say that I haven't had a few more panic moments. If you guys didn't know, and it is probably in the title, but I am going to be fully awake for this procedure, although I will have a muscle relaxer. So when I say fully awake, I will still be considered sedated, but I am not going under full anesthesia for this. I am having that sedative as well as local anesthesia on my cervix. And by now I've gotten to a point where I am not super terrified. That's a half lie. I would say I've gotten to a point where I am happy with the prospect of those two things helping me a lot when it comes to this procedure. But I will say that ever since talking to my nurse, I did find myself in a rabbit hole of other videos, and even just seeing other women being put fully under for this procedure would spin me absolutely out of control, because I would then again go down the road of why the frick aren't they putting me under? This is barbaric, this is inhumane, why are they making me do this awake? Like the whole thing, like that is the dark mentality that I try to just like reason through and avoid up to this point. But I feel okay with those things, because when I can reason through it, the muscle relaxers, or whatever you want to call them, the anti-anxiety medications, have helped tremendously in the past with things like my saline ultrasound, my transfer. But when they have had to go through my cervix for any other tests or any other procedures without the muscle relaxer, it has been a very painful experience for me. But during the procedures where it should have again been very painful for me, when I have the anti-anxiety or the muscle relaxer in my system, it has been painless, literally painless. I felt zero pain for my saline ultrasound, and that is what I am keeping with me close, because everybody's experiences are super different, and it's not to say that mine won't go south tomorrow, so you and I both shall see how that goes. But a lot of women say that the saline ultrasound was a very painful experience for them, and I felt zero pain. So I'm just taking that with me, knowing everyone's experiences are different, and the things that I have under my belt and the knowledge and the facts that I have under my belt, there's nothing to say that this experience also couldn't be great too. So I'm just taking that with me. That is where I'm at mentally right now. I think mostly I have legitimately started looking forward in a sick way to tomorrow, because I cannot wait for this to be over. I had a dream the other night of the procedure and how it went really well and everything was so fine, everything was good, it didn't hurt at all, and I cried in my dream after because I was so relieved it was over. This anticipation and the anxiety surrounding this procedure has been absolutely debilitating for me. I have lost a lot of sleep over the last month ever since knowing that it's been scheduled and the date of which it was, and I'm tired of it just taking up that amount of mental space. I need it to just be over with. And I know that once it's over, just like my first egg retrieval and how petrified I was walking into that office, the absolute relief after that was so incredible, and I just know that I'm gonna feel that after, and that is what I'm looking forward to. So ready to get this over with, crossing all of our fingers. Hi guys, I'm doing not good. I'm not good right now. I'm not well. My heart is racing.
You are surprisingly, like, I'm surprised.
I was telling my friend, she texted me and like wished me luck on like my procedure. I was like, I'm surprisingly calm compared to my other days where I like woke up and had a procedure. I'm like surprisingly calm as it's growing closer and we're actually inching towards it. I'm not feeling great. Here's the sweater on, and I've got my joggers. Here's the outfit. We've got the fit. But also, not a change of plans, but a little wrench in everything. My period came today, the day of my hysteroscopy. Still can't say it. I woke up yesterday feeling slightly crampy, and that usually means that my period is right around the corner. So I messaged my nurse in the portal and asked her, you know, hey, in this event, are we still good to do this thing? Because as much as I don't want to do this right now, and as much as I have been dreading it, to push it off even more would have been worse for me. Like, I really don't want to do this, but if I have to have it like mentally in my head anymore, I'm gonna go absolutely insane. But she assured me that they can still do the procedure and everything is fine. It's just an added ouchie. I'm never well on my first day of my period necessarily, but having this in the afternoon and just like having it consume my thoughts, honestly, I could do this all day, just coupled with everything I'm afraid of that's about to go down. It didn't need to happen. You know, it really didn't.
45 minutes before appointment.
It is 1:44 right now. I've got my Lorazepam is the official name, a 2 milligram tablet. So I'm checking in now. We don't have to get there until 2:30, darling. In case you didn't want to put your shoes on.
No, I'm good. I'm just getting ready.
All
You
right.
get your Switch charged up in case you want to play Stardew Dreamlight Valley.
You think I'm gonna want to play that?
I don't know. I'll get whatever you want set up for when you come home. Okay?
Oh, you mean when I come home?
Yeah.
I thought you meant like in the office. Like, do we want to bring the Switch? I'm not focused on that. All right, down the hatch. This is how I feel. I would cry if you took that from me.
I would too.
This is how I feel before taking the medication. Sweaty, nervous, heart. I can feel my heart racing. Sweaty palms, brain racing. Done. Tablets and liquid start to work around 20 to 30 minutes.
That's cool.
Oh my god. I did it.
She did really good too.
You think I did good?
You did.
I'm
You did phenomenal.
not gonna lie. I feel very crampy right now, but I'm clearly able to talk through everything.
Mm-hmm.
They did injections of lidocaine, which I was worried they would just do topical, but they did injections of lidocaine, which is like really effective. And it definitely felt twingy, but you can tell the Ativan took its place too. So
Do you feel like it worked now though, the Ativan?
I think so.
Your demeanor is very
1000%. I
relaxed.
think it did work by the time I laid down. My legs are so shaky.
You can lay him on me.
Okay, that works. That was just the most crazy experience. Like, I would do it again awake. That's my takeaway versus falling asleep because it is manageable. I think I'm just really relieved that it's over. Everyone in that room was so sweet. I would do it again awake over going to sleep and waking up and not knowing what's going on, feeling in pain when I wake up, etc., etc. I would do it like this over again. It was worth it.
You did so good.
Do you think I did good?
You did really good.
What's your first impressions of what you just saw?
Whoa, it was crazy.
Yeah. But when they just started going, were you like, oh my gosh?
It was pretty cool.
Did you enjoy watching it?
Yeah, I'm fascinated by this stuff.
Yeah, I think watching it helped distract me
Did it? Okay, good.
too.
Yeah.
Versus just like looking up at the ceiling and looking at nothing. I got to like watch it right there.
I thought it might too. Like, I was like, I hope you can see it. I'm glad you were able to watch it.
It's officially over.
It is. How you feeling right now?
Crampy. But it's like subsiding, I think, from when,
It'll subside too with a procedure price.
Yeah, you think so? Whew. You guys, I am alive. I've made it to live another day. Oh my gosh, me and this water bottle are now bonded for life. It's actually 1:30 p.m. the very next day. And before I let time slip away and I completely forget about what went down yesterday and I move on to the next steps, I wanted to recount some things that are fresh in my brain that might be helpful for anybody clicking on this video in a panic like I was myself, looking for any reassuring videos. But the summary is the pain was completely manageable. The staff were so sweet, so nice. I definitely have some tips and tricks which I'll go into, but the cramping afterwards was manageable. I would personally even put it lower on the pain scale than I had after my IUI, and I would say that's due to the paracervical block that I had as well as the anti-anxiety medication. And then I slept like a rock last night and woke up to no pain whatsoever, but I am on my period right now, so anything feeling kind of crampy. I can't really discern from the procedure or my period, so it's kind of a blessing in disguise that that's going on at the same time, but it's not adding to anything, which is fantastic. So I'm just taking Tylenol every like 5-ish hours because I would normally do that when I'm on day 2 of my period still, but it's working wonders. I wouldn't say it's a heavier pain scale or anything like that. So that's the gist of it. Who wants to hear the details? I think I forgot to film 45 minutes after I took my anti-anxiety medicine because I was just completely in my own world at that point, not because of the medication, but the nerves really started to get to me. By the time I got to the office, I was convinced that the anti-anxiety medication wasn't necessarily working, but I would say that this experience is just very sobering in general. If I was already in a relaxed state, or maybe I was excited, maybe it was transfer day, I'm sure the medication would have been working a lot better. I would have felt the difference, but I was just fully aware, fully awake, ready to pounce whenever needed, like animal in a cage situation. Like that's how I felt. So I was convinced it wasn't working, but by the time I got in the office and they were having me lay down and everything, I could tell that I, without it, would have been a lot more panicky and definitely on the verge of tears, which I was not. But I get in there and we go right back to the procedure room because the perks of doing it awake and just in a procedure room versus an OR is it's just very calm and it's very just normal doctor's office light. I wouldn't say the room was any larger than I expected, so that was really nice and it wasn't very intimidating. So she takes me to the procedure room and I sit right on the bed that I'm gonna lay down on and have the procedure done. The person who brought me back was the nurse that I had talked to several times that you guys saw in the vlog, and she is an absolute saint. Love her so much. She kept saying how good of a job I did and how everything was gonna be just fine, and she's just, nurses are just amazing. But she brought me back. She was a very calming presence. She asked me just a few basic questions, confirmed that I am allergic to ibuprofen and aspirin-based things, which was nice to hear that they were on that. And she confirmed what medications I took before, which again are the anti-anxiety, and I took Tylenol before going in as well. And she confirmed that I'm gonna get a paracervical block. So all of the things that I expected and asked for and confirmed I wanted were on the list. And then my doctor came in, and emotionally I was struggling overall. I think going back to my regular OB's office just because, I don't know. I don't know how to put it into words. So if you all are or have dealt with infertility and you were at an infertility clinic and then at any point went back to the same OB for whatever reason, it just felt very strange emotionally to see her again and to be back in that setting again, because the last time I saw her, she was sending me off to start getting all of the infertility stuff figured out, like the HSG. She got me a referral to my clinic. Like that was the last time I ever saw her. Ooh, and that, oh man, it's just a lot. Like it's very strange. And so it was very strange to see her, but also she was just very calming and very friendly and so sweet. But she brought me through the details of the procedure and she had to bring me through any risks or anything like that. And then the one tip that I'll say here, if you know that you already have questions before going in, write them down in a list, because we got the answers that we needed right then and there just by having them in a list. And she said it's a lot easier for her if the questions are organized in a list as well, because both of us, me and the doctor, can just rapid fire go through them and she can talk through them really organized. So it kept things really precise and really quick, and I got to get all of the answers that I was looking for before all of the chaos and things started. And then if I'm being honest, the rest was a blur. She had me lay back, put my feet in the stirrups, and she did let me know that if at any point during the procedure that I want her to stop, she will absolutely stop. So to have that in the back of my mind, I knew that I would do everything in my power to push through whatever was about to happen, because I just do not want to have to like go back through this again mentally at all. But to know that that is absolutely an option, even though it is an option, like, and it always is an option, just to have that verbally said to me right before everything started was super helpful. So I want you guys to have that in the back of your minds too. But from there, she walked me through every single thing that she was doing, and she also let me know that if I ever don't want her to tell me what she's doing, I can have that too. But I was like, no, all information, thank you. I would like all of it, please. But me not being a medical professional, I am a little blurry on the exact sequence of events or how long certain things took. But in the room, there was me and my doctor, and then there were 2 nurses to the side, including the nurse that brought me back and the one that I've spoken to on the phone. So I love that she was there. And then Jack was right by me, and the whole time he was like massaging my shoulders. I was squeezing his hand. Like, to have him was absolutely everything, and I felt very taken care of the whole time. But the first thing I do remember is the speculum went in. Again, she was talking me through everything, and the nurses started asking me like, how long have I been in Maine? And then they told me where they moved from and things like that, and there was just light conversation. But during all of that, she was definitely getting my cervix prepped. I felt a needle prick going in, and she told me that those were the injections for the lidocaine. The injections themselves just felt like injections, and she told me that there would be 3 of them total, and she told me where she was going in and what I might be feeling. But kind of during that, I was also conversing with the nurses too, so there was a lot of good distraction going on. But in the back of my head, I did count that 3 needles had gone in, and then she asked me at that point what my level of pain had been up to this point, like what's the highest, and I said maybe about a 3 or so. And she told me that that is great news, that the lidocaine is really working, because at that point she had done stuff that some people may have kicked her in the head for. So I felt really good. I felt at that point really confident that the lidocaine, or whatever they call it, a paracervical block, was the way to go for me. And since I tolerated that so well and the pain level was really only a 3 for me, that I could handle this thing totally fine. The next parts were all about getting the camera through my cervix, and since the camera was on and the screen was actually like right here and I could watch it with her, like she could see it and I could see it and Jack could see it, like we could all just watch, I could tell that they were having a little bit of trouble getting the camera through and into my uterus. They were just trying a couple of times, and then she was asking for a different instrument at some point. But again, this whole time I had my cervix numbed, so that was just highly recommend. But eventually we were in, because I could see everything on the screen and the water started flowing. I don't know if the water spigot is attached to the whole camera apparatus, but either way there was a flashlight on it, so I could just start seeing everything, and you could tell that the cavity was inflating a little bit with the water. I will say something that I was fearing was that it was going to like blow up really fast, just kind of like an HSG, and that is not the case at all. You could kind of just tell it was slowly opening up because you could see more as it opened up. So she just starts looking around, she gets situated in there, and then at any point when the camera was in there, I would say the pain maybe got to a 5. Like maybe. But there was no like meditative breathing that I had to do. I don't think I moaned one time. It was just like kind of standard period cramps, which was awesome. We can all handle that. At first it seemed like she was getting like just a gauge of the surroundings. She showed me my fallopian tubes, which was crazy. That was wild. That was really cool to see. It felt like we were a submarine exploring the depths of the ocean almost. It was very, very strange. But I will say, since I was there to get a polyp removed, and the polyp was detected through a saline ultrasound, or what they think is a polyp, that they can only see black and white really with the saline ultrasound, but I didn't see any like clear polyps. At a certain point she let me know that she's going to start cleaning up some tissue. She started cleaning up just some excess looking tissue. I would say it kind of looked like, I don't know, it was just kind of white, just some white tissue. She said that was completely normal tissue, and it really was just cleaning house. We were just making sure everything looked super clean and really smooth inside the uterus, which was really cool. And her goal at the end of the day was to clear the polyps if there were any, but also just any excess anything, so that we had a clean slate for our next embryo transfer. So the day actually felt pretty productive. We had a productive day yesterday. But at a certain point she did mention that she didn't see any major polyps or protrusions in the wall or anything like that, but there was one section where the tissue was heavier right near my cervix, which made a lot of sense because whatever they detected on the saline ultrasound that brought me here in the first place, they said it was right at the entrance. So when she was done, she made a final sweep around the main uterine cavity. She was on her way out, and there was definitely some just heavy tissue, but it was kind of covering the camera a bit. So she just kind of started hacking at it, making sure she was being very careful about the whole wall situation, you know. But she expressed that even in that tissue and with the camera, she didn't see any like physical polyp within there, but it doesn't mean there wasn't one hiding in the tissue. So what will happen is they'll take that tissue and other tissue that they collected throughout the procedure, and they'll send that off to pathology. And even if they don't have a physical polyp with them, even if it's like a tiny little one, they can test the tissue and they can tell if it is polyp tissue versus just regular uterine tissue. But I will say, anytime that she was hacking at the tissue, as barbaric as that sounds, and that's what I was so afraid of, I felt nothing. That was not where the pain was coming from. The pain was coming from just a lot of manipulation and dilation of the cervix. So if you're looking for anything that you want to ask your doctor about, if you're going to be awake for the procedure, that paracervical block, I'm sure, was working wonders for me. I don't want to think about what it would have been like if I did not have a paracervical block. And then the next thing that I remember, she said the words, "We are all finished. You did so good." And we did a little round of applause, and I just couldn't believe that I made it through. I was so relieved. But at that point, I was kind of bracing myself for like the post cramping and things. And I definitely was feeling a little crampy afterwards. Nothing more than what I was feeling during the procedure though. And they asked me if I wanted to sit up or if I just wanted to lie back and relax for a little bit. And I was like, yes, I will take that latter. I will take that option. I will lay back and relax for a bit. And then I think I laid on the table and just relaxed for about 20 minutes after, and I definitely felt the cramping subsiding within that time, which was a huge relief for me. I had pads and everything that I needed to situate myself right there in the office before getting up and walking out and going to the desk to check out. We got in the car and we went to Dunkin' Donuts. The rest of the evening, the cramping never got any worse from when I walked out of the office. If anything, it got better, to the point where I actually forgot to take some more Tylenol on time like I normally would during my period. Like I usually, especially within the first few days, take some like every 4 to 6 hours or so. And I was at like the 6 to 7 hour mark since I had taken my last dose of Tylenol, and I completely forgot. So I was feeling okay. The main medical takeaway though, with how things went and what she saw and what this means as far as our fertility and our transfer next steps. And I had to double check with Jack that we also had the same takeaway, because I definitely on anti-anxiety meds, like I lose time and lose snippets of information. But the main takeaway is, like I said before, she couldn't for sure see a physical polyp, but she definitely cleared away any excess tissue that she would usually clear away when she's doing this procedure anyway. But she also confirmed that she didn't see any abnormalities or protrusions within the uterine wall, which is cool because you never want that, I guess, anyway, you know? But also in the back of my mind, I don't know, is this weird? Like, I wish there was something that she physically saw, could snip out and take away, that could have explained why the transfer didn't work. But she literally did say the words that in her expertise and in her medical opinion, there was nothing in there that she would have pointed to say, that is a really good reason why your transfer didn't happen. So we're freaking back to unexplained, man. But at the end of the day, she cleared a bunch of stuff out, and it is a better environment than when I walked in there that day. It's very clean. She cleaned up house. We're looking good. She confirmed that she is sending over this information, or just letting my fertility clinic know that, yep, she looks good. I did all the things, so that my fertility clinic can submit to insurance for approval to move forward with our transfer. But my friends, that is going to be it for my polypectomy video. I hope you all enjoyed, or you got whatever comfort you needed by clicking on this video, genuinely. If you have absolutely any questions that I didn't answer in this video about this procedure, please leave them in the comments below. I would be more than happy to answer them for you. Based on my own experience, I think at this point we all know that I am not a medical professional doctor, okay? Just based on my own experience. If you are new and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, make sure to do so down below, because I upload videos here Wednesdays and Sundays, and we'd love to have you along. Everybody, do not forget to give this video a big old thumbs up, and we'll catch you in the next one, my friends. We'll see you later. Bye!